How are things going in Wales, chaps?
Yeah, well, no better than ever before, but I think it's a good opportunity to explain to you guys what you can be looking forward to, because as you know, in Wales we've had a Labour government for a very long time. We've had our own parliament, and it's just been Labour throughout. So this segment is titled "Taste of Things to Come," because this is what we believe you can expect. And I think, to start off, I don't have the controls of this, I don't think. Up on the first, this one, oh yes, of course. Well, there we are. So it's up the screen. So Keir Starmer points to Welsh Labour government as a blueprint for the UK at Parliament conference.
Why? Why, Keir?
Yeah.
What have we done? You hate us as much as that?
Yeah.
God damn.
And that's exactly it, because you'd imagine, if Keir Starmer, this is pre-election, so if Keir Starmer is going to say something like this, you'd imagine that Wales would be thriving. It'd be, the health would be doing really well. Education would be top of the leagues. The economy would be thriving as well. Yep. However, it's not. It's totally different. So
it kind of reminds me of Kamala Harris saying how she's going to, fix the country, and you go, but who's been in charge for the last 4 years, Kamala?
Yeah. Well, it's quite interesting actually, because Labour in Wales have always had the opportunity to point their finger at Westminster and say it's the Tories, despite Wales getting more money than anybody else. But they're not able to do that anymore. So it is quite interesting. Although they are still doing it. They are still saying, 14 years is, so it's going to take 2 terms to get out of that before we can even start to judge Labour, apparently. So it's just absolute nonsense. But we can have a little look through, because we've got this first one here, which is Tata Steel. Now, Tata Steel has been in the news quite a lot as of late. And how important is this to not just Wales, but to the United Kingdom?
Yeah. So the Tata Steel...
oh, God, I closed it. Sorry. Samson, do you want to get that link back up?
Yeah, that one.
There's stupid buttons on the side of the mouse.
I've never understood why there are buttons on the side of a mouse.
Yeah. So the steel making in Port Talbot was absolutely crucial to this country.
Yeah.
Defence-wise, although we've never used it for defence purposes, but it was there because in the event of a war, we've got our own source of virgin steel. The week that they shut Tower Number 3 down, Tata Steel India opened one up.
In India.
It's a good thing there's no geopolitical conflicts going on at the moment.
Yeah, and if you want to look at global emissions, then popping down there and popping up there makes no difference, whatsoever. So the argument of this is for the climate, it's just null and void, because they've opened up the exact same in India, which is going to produce better steel now than we're going to be able to have. But what it has done is, so phase 1, the job losses, 2,800 job losses on phase 1 alone, 2,500 impacted over the next 18 months, with an estimated 9.7 job losses UK-wide, with 100 million gone to support the job losses, and no ability to make our own top quality steel. So, you might be able to say that, okay, we close this down for the climate, we need to save the planet and all that. But the cost then that's come through it. Now this, in Port Talbot, everybody in Port Talbot has got a link to the steelworks.
Absolutely.
They've got family members who work in the steelworks. It's just that's just the town that you have. It's very much based around this. So this amount of unemployment hitting an already impoverished area, it doesn't matter how good for the planet this is. When you've got this many people, close to 10,000 people across the UK, that this is actually going to be forcing into unemployment.
Yeah, but what the Welsh government do is they pick on something. So this week you may have heard that we've closed down Britain's last coal-fired power station. Wales did it before you.
Of course they did.
So Wales closed that one down, and then they looked around and said, what's the next polluting one?
Yeah.
Steel. So they closed that one down. It's gone. And what they're doing now is they're going to pick on the farmers.
Mm.
So
seen this, where the 25% of the land or something they want is
correct.
Rewilded.
Rewilded. Yeah.
It's like, sorry, we're going to lose a quarter of our output, are we?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Which is a huge difference in the farming. We've been to a number of these protests, and they say they're profits are marginal at the moment.
Yeah.
They're just about, and they're working ridiculous hours just to break even. So this, taking land off them is just going to destroy the industry again.
Absolutely right. And it's driving. The people from Port Talbot now, the steelworks, they've actually started to travel across the Bristol suspension bridge to do work in the nuclear power station and the power stations across here. So it's not changing anything.
No.
Plus, we've got rid of anthracite coal, the best smokeless coal in the world, and India are building coal power stations along with China, burning
So we're
dirty coal.
We're deindustrializing ourselves to allow the third world to industrialize.
Correct.
Yeah. And it's worse because they say it's for the planet. You mentioned anthracite coal. Literally across, so you've got Port Talbot Steelworks, the M4 motorway, and the hills. Yeah. And in the hills is where that coal is.
Absolute
so you could
gold.
so easy mine there, conveyor belt it straight over the motorway into the steelworks, and that wouldn't be a problem. But what they do, because it offsets it to someone else. So when we're importing the steel on dirty diesel tankers from across the world, it's their carbon emissions. Yeah. So even though that's releasing more, it's less.
And it's also really crazy that we're making ourselves dependent on foreign powers.
Yes.
Why are we doing this?
Well, don't worry. I'm sure that if David Lammy goes over and speaks to the third worlders and
There's a problem.
reminds them that he's black, then they will deindustrialize themselves as well, so they don't.
Worked on Russia, didn't it?
Well,
exactly.
Well, the Chinese, of course, are saying that Britain had 150 years of industrialization. We want the same.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what are we going to say to them?
Yeah.
We say, do it yourself.
Take
You lazy
these,
scrounge.
take these islands.
Yeah.
Has Wales recently given away any territory? Was that also a copycat?
No,
move?
we gained some, and we Monmouthshire, and that, so we gained that.
Yeah, we
so,
Oh, really?
from England. Yeah,
Imperial Wales.
actually, no. We see
You'll have that.
when
Greater Wales plan.
when we can't give anything away, what we do is we have a Welsh Navy that only boards Welsh fishermen's. And so this is true.
I believe you. I believe you. It's so preposterous that it has to be true.
So you can see one of these fish sucking super mega trawlers out there with a Belgian flag on it, or a French flag.
Yeah.
No. They'll go to the little dinky fishing boat.
Yeah.
And ask the man who's because we've got aging fishermen now in Wales.
Yeah.
Have you got a fishing
Where's your license?
equivalent to a license, and you've got to have a medical every year apparently now. But they only board Welsh fishing vessels.
It's like we're occupied by foreign powers.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what you'd expect if we'd been conquered.
Yeah, but it's our own power that's conquering
But it's our own
ourselves.
government.
It's ridiculous. But then, so that, Tata Steelworks is the biggest one, and it's going to have a massive effect on the whole of the UK. The next one then up here, so Welsh taxpayer unlikely to get back 7.3 million for a failed racetrack. So the Welsh government, more vanity, thought, okay, we'll have a racetrack. Why not? The racetrack fell through. And that money's just, down the Swanee pretty much. Out of all the things I could think we need in Wales, I don't think a racetrack is one of them.
So is this a photo of it, or is this like an artist
Impression?
sketch, yeah.
So what this is right here in real world is a big empty field.
Yes.
Still. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we somehow managed to throw £7.3 million down in the hole for.
Yeah, well, this is Wales. This is what the Welsh do.
It was a very expensive artist interpretation.
Yeah, well, I bet that cost quite a lot of money, because they no expense spared on anything. That probably cost a couple of million, just to get the artist to draw that.
I know it's not on the list, but we also bought a farm, but not to farm, but to have pop concerts there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Mark
Did you want
Drakeford.
like Welsh Glastonbury or something?
Well, yeah, apparently so.
Britain already has enough music festivals.
yes, yep.
Yeah.
So that was a loss-making venture as well.
Yeah. And then the next one, we've got this. So Cardiff Airport. I don't know if any of you even knew Cardiff had an airport. I hardly.
It's reasonable that it should have one.
Well, yeah, maybe. However, this airport doesn't seem to be performing pretty well. Yeah. So this was purchased. So Lee Waters, this is the man behind the 20 mile per hour. He's potentially the most hated man in Wales. He actually flew to Australia to tell Australians how well the 20 mile per hour is going.
So he's the man that means you can't have fun driving around Wales.
Correct. Yeah, that's
the
him.
20 mile an hour.
You can tell by his face. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
This guy actually thought it was funny to say to the audience inside.
Well, this is So basically, he went into it, and I just couldn't believe he just said it. It shows how silly this man is. But he went to Australia to tell them how well the 20 mile per hour was doing. they said Lee Waters from Wales, he walks on and everyone's clapping and cheering. And I'm thinking, wow, yeah, they obviously don't know who this guy is. And the first thing he says is, and that's what I've said in my mind, they don't know who this guy is. And the first thing he said is, oh, when it comes to something, you've got to travel halfway around the world to get a round of applause. And I'm thinking, you just said how unpopular you are with this decision.
Just straight out of the horse's mouth.
Yeah. But
Everyone hates me back home.
Yeah.
And democracy in action, right? This guy knows how unpopular he is.
Yeah.
Still in position anyway.
He's closing down the roads. He's making everything one way. He's building bridges that cost $8 million
To go to nowhere.
Literally, we've been on the bridge. It goes from nowhere to nowhere. It's not even a cycle track. It's just a bridge. And, but yet he is the man then that will make everybody, miserable. But he will fly to Australia, to give his speech. So, it's
Save
just
carbon emissions.
Yeah.
He's heavily into cycle tracks, and he used to be.
Right, he used to work for a cycle firm.
Yeah, he used to.
Strands.
So Strands, a charity. This is the charity that pushed for the 20 mile per hour, and he gave them millions of pounds to push it. But if
and they come up with nice statements then, didn't they?
If you then follow the cycle path in your car, you'll find that they've ripped down thousands of miles of hedges to build a tarmac road, which is almost like a single lane
next to the road.
Exclusively for bikes.
And you know what? I bet he's still the kind of cyclist that rides right in the middle of the road next to the path anyway.
Yeah, he's Jeremy Vine style. He's the Welsh Jeremy Vine, isn't he? Yeah. But
what was that? A bike nonce?
Yeah, well, I weren't going to say that because there's ongoing legal proceedings.
You don't say that.
But, so just to give people an idea on the airport itself. So the loss in value that they're talking about there is 38 million. The Welsh, so it's only a small amount, Yeah.
Pissing money away so we don't.
Yeah.
But
the Welsh government, wait 2 seconds while I got it. So the Welsh government bought this for 52 million in 2013, and in 2021 is valued at 15 million. So it's a huge loss.
Is that adjusted for inflation?
Is it what, sorry?
Adjusted for inflation.
Yeah.
But today, you was looking it up earlier, it's worth around 7 million.
It's worth around 7 million. And,
What?
And they've given it to consultants, and it's now not called Cardiff Airport.
Even with this
It's
amount
Wales
of inflation.
International.
Wales International.
Wales International. Oh.
So they thought the name, that's what's dragging business down.
Yeah. Well, if then we go on to the next article, the next article shows... there we go.
There you go.
There we go. So, this is more recent because obviously it was 2023. So this one then, 2024, showing that it is making a 4.5 million loss per year at the moment. And then on to the next one, they're giving the solution, which is basically to plough another 206 million into the airport. So an airport that's worth 7 million today, a massive, massive loss on funds, not succeeding. When you compare this to Bristol Airport, so there's 150,000 last year used Cardiff Airport, 9.3 million or something used Bristol. So it's not even, it's close. It's nowhere near. So,
But you are right. This is definitely a taste of things to come.
It is.
Incompetent governance.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what this is.
To be fair, if I ever need to get a flight back to Britain, though, if it's really that quiet at that airport, I know where I'm coming back to.
Yeah, but the thing is, you'll have to get off at Bristol to transfer the card. So, long haul isn't a really good thing. It's an airport that doesn't go really far. It'll get you to. It's like when you get a train and you have to get off and get on another train. That's basically what it is.
Yeah. But there is an honesty box there, for declaring.
Oh, okay. All right.
The next one then is the M4 Relief Road. So if you've ever driven into Wales, you will know around the Newport sort of area is where it's chock-a-block. And not only that, it's 50 mile per hour as well now. So everybody's driving like snails anyway. And you've got everybody, man, woman, dog, that's on the road there at that point. So there was a plan to build a relief road, which definitely would have, eased that traffic, but would have made it a lot easier for businesses as well. When you got delivery firms and you got, this is a main road, it's the only motorway really going into Wales.
Yep.
You need it to be clear. But that's scrapped because Lee Waters, the climate guy, said building roads is not a good thing for the planet. So we are
Cycle paths.
Yeah.
I don't
Cycle
care about
paths.
the planet. It's radicalising me against the planet.
Yeah.
Well,
We're going to be anti-planet soon, aren't we?
Yeah. But they spent 144 million on something that went nowhere.
Well, and this is it. It literally went nowhere. And I've got a little breakdown. I'm not going to go through, I won't go through every little detail, but just to give you an idea of where this money went. So you got 80.1 million was spent on a joint scheme run by construction firms, so consultation, 15.3 million went towards a public inquiry and legal costs.
Why aren't we getting any of this money?
No, well, you're giving it to us.
I know.
True.
Oh, God.
10.7 million was spent on buying up land around the area, so they own all the land.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Solar farms will probably be going there.
Yeah.
5.4 million spent on technical, commercial, and contractual advice, so more consultation. 1.7 million spent on development costs. 1.2 million spent on designing and preparing the necessary utilities. All for nothing. No spade went in the floor. And there's 144 million.
You couldn't make up this level of incompetence. Like, it's genuinely mind-bending how... I mean, there's obviously no accountability. That's the thing.
No.
And there's no
No one is
accountability.
accountable for anything.
But we are to blame for that in Wales because the people don't vote.
Yes.
You know, and when they do vote, it's they're voting for this. And
Where's the Owen Glendower party? Why aren't they
Yes.
currently in
yes.
revolt?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Well, I think the Owen Glendower party is called Yes
Stuck on the
Cymru at the moment. Yeah, they're stuck on the motorway. But yeah, so that's just economy. We move on then.
But they went against their own consultants. The consultants said this will spare on industry. It will get stuff from A to B quickly.
Yeah.
Instead, people are now thinking, well, we can't go to Wales because you've got 20 miles an hour, 50 miles
Of
an hour.
course. I would go.
And every other day, I've shown you, every other day there's a blockage on the motorway due to an accident. Yeah. So people are relocating to Bristol and that area because, of course, you've got the network.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't take a great engineer or even just anybody with any qualifications. Common sense. The lack of it in the Senedd is amazing.
But you can see, this will spur industry, and they're like, oh, I'll check that off. And nope.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah. And just to make sure we're going to charge people to come in again.
Drakeford wants a universal wage. He wants it.
A universal wage?
The universal income.
Basic income.
The basic
He wants
income.
UBI.
He wants it.
Well, he's
in
already
Wales,
doing it.
And he's already doing it.
Yeah, but it's only for migrants at the moment. £1,600 a month.
Oh, well.
£1,600 a month. So more than the minimum wage is what they're getting. Plus
How
their
do the Welsh
rent.
live with this?
Yeah.
Trust me. It's driving me crazy just hearing it.
It took me years working jobs here and there to be able to get to that kind of wage.
Yeah, absolutely. But in Wales, it's to help the underprivileged, the people leaving education to get on their feet. £1,600 a month. That's not teaching them any less, really, is it? As far as I'm concerned. But we got hope. Because, with the morons...
No hope.
Yeah.
Because if England collapses as well...
When?
We can stop enabling...
Yeah, when England collapses, the Welsh will stop giving the migrants money. Thank God.
Yeah, well...
There's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because at the moment, we're the only place that's like a nation of sanctuary. Now you've got Keir Starmer. It's that the buffer zone's going to spread out, to you guys.
Yeah.
The hope is there that the education must be performing really well for Keir Starmer to want to emulate and model his government on Wales.
Yeah, only if you don't read the headlines.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I was going to say something else. I won't. But Welsh school standards dropped by the equivalent of a whole year in PISA education report.
Jesus.
That's huge. That's massive. That's it's so impossible to try and get your head around how it can be this bad. And I can tell you, because I've got children in schools in Wales, I can tell you how it's this bad. Because you've got LGBTQ plus everywhere. You've got Sam
Black
Smith
history.
up on the LGBT Wall of Fame. You've got Black History, which we're going to go into in a second, which is just ongoing in Wales. You've got a model, which is...
Black history is happening every day
Yeah,
in Wales.
yeah.
It's a hot spot for black history.
But I guess the worst thing is they go at the slowest person's pace.
Yeah.
So the slowest person in the class. So when my daughter, they'd be like, right, Phoebe, come to 5. She'd come to 25. Like, no, slow down. We're going to 5. And they pull back the people who are accelerating. So
The great level of socialism.
yeah.
The lowest common denominator.
Yes.
Absolutely. So then the next one major changes for education in Wales. So obviously this is from a report.
High levels of inequality.
Yeah.
Inequality is good in education. It means the smart people are getting ahead.
Yes.
Where they should be.
They want everybody to be as one, don't they?
They brought in a new education system during COVID and said it hasn't been looked at for 2 decades, and so we're going to change it, and we're going to make it so that every lesson we'll have LGBTQ, and we'll weave it into maths, we'll weave it into English.
Oh yeah, I've looked at these as well. It's
Full full spectrum wokeism.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's that sneaky way of doing it so that, well, you're going to learn in the English class, but what they'll do is they'll put a story that's all about the LGBT stuff so that they can turn the conversation into purely being about that and have an open discussion with children.
Yeah.
So it's just propaganda rather than actually learning anything.
Yeah.
And in fact, the only thing that they have done that they would say is successful is we've now got sanctuary schools.
Yeah.
And they actually took it down, but they did an advert.
I think we covered this on the podcast when it first came out. They basically hung up the small girls as red meat for migrants, didn't they?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, absolutely right. And that's it. Schools of sanctuary where they've got to hit certain check marks, and for some reason, all the schools are aspiring to be the school of sanctuary.
So may I ask, in the past year or two before this report came out saying that school standards had dropped, had there been a big drive to diversify the schools and add in new populations? Because I would expect that might have something to do with it as well.
Yeah.
Well, there's an inequality there.
Uneducated people from countries that statistically aren't as intelligent as us, all of a sudden they get injected into the schools, and school standards and grades drop markedly. It's like when you hear that them saying that for the first time for the first generation in hundreds of years, Brits have been getting shorter, and you go, oh yeah, because you're getting loads of Indians and third worlders in who are shorter than we are. So it's bringing the averages.
Yeah, and that is how it's been. Wales has been a nation of sanctuary for, well, it's about 4 years now, isn't it? Yeah. Swansea's been a city of sanctuary for about 12, 13 years. So it's been something that's in Wales for some time. And, you know, when my daughter started school, the class was so big, they had to split it. There was 60 children, and they had to stagger the starts. Now, there was 2 teachers or 3 teachers at the time where 7 kids needed one-to-one assistance. So when you've got 3 teachers, 7 kids out of 60 need one-to-one care. The rest of the children are suffering. You know, and again, that's not the teacher's
Obviously, the
fault.
education's not going to be as good if you're not able to actually, you know, teach
Educate.
kids.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely.
And this is it. It's not called teaching, is it? It's called controlling. It's controlling 60 kids.
Well, it's just, it's
That's all it can be.
It's managing the mass of children. You don't have time to teach.
Yeah. And then we'll go through the next couple now really quickly. So this next one... Oh, let me get the mouse. I don't even know where we are on the thing. There it is. Sorry. So sliding education results as high inequalities should prompt a big rethink in Welsh education policy.
The problem isn't inequality. The problem is the fact that everyone's failing.
Yeah. Well, the inequality is, believe it or not, it's white boys.
No, I believe it. It's the same in England.
It's white boys.
Yeah. Then you got this one, Welsh education in crisis as fears mount that reforms will leave poorer children worse off. You know, so...
Oh, we're going to try and make it so the poor have... Oh, no, we've made it so they're worse. Oh, you...
Yeah.
Who are these incompetent fools?
But it's okay because, you know, when they've got all this reform and they've got everything that they need, you know, they've got the plan in place, and the plan is, you know, it's going to be Wales kicks off a year-long Black History celebration with major Cardiff events. So this is from a group called Black History 365. Now, everybody's heard of Black History Month. And in Wales...
All year, every year for Wales.
Yeah. Well, you know...
Black History Life.
Yeah. We're not called Wales anymore. Yeah.
Oh God, why was I born? Oh, to celebrate Black History.
Yeah. You know, a month is too. You know, I always compare it to Remembrance Day, where you get 2 minutes, right? And you get 2 minutes to honour the people who should be respected the most in our country. And you get a month for this, but now it's 365 days.
I mean, there's just nothing they could do to make it more woke, right, or more social.
But you can.
What else is there?
You can look forward every 4 years to 1 day off.
I do like taking a day off.
I'm sorry as well. Like, we'll launch a 12-month program celebrating Black contributions to Wales culture. Do you even have a day's worth of material in that?
No.
Unless you are literally going to do the meme route and just say all of these coal miners covered in soot.
Yeah.
They're black.
Yeah. Well, this is exactly it, because there isn't a Black History in Wales.
Unless you're going to literally go Tom Jones, black enough, I suppose.
Yeah.
Bit swarthy, curly hair, sorted.
Yeah. Well, you've got, the thing is, they don't.
Idris Elba in a biopic.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, this is it. They don't even, they don't focus on Welsh black people. We had, they were celebrating Barack Obama and people like that. So they just try and find black people, and they're going to spend all day celebrating these influential black people.
Barack Obama,
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, maybe Malcolm X.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm going to read the radical writings of Malcolm X.
Yeah, don't forget Llantrisant. The Royal Mint is in Llantrisant in South Wales. And if you remember when they did the diversity collection of coins, they actually lied in their own magazines. They had fake history in there. It was like we had a black monarch at one stage. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. This is breaking news.
Yeah,
Breaking news.
You learned it here first.
Yeah. And then obviously we got them to, economy and education is important. Health is probably another important thing. So you'd imagine the hospitals must be performing really well in Wales. Unfortunately not. You can see here Betsy Cadwalla University Health Board and special measures. So obviously, and this, I would say pretty much every health board in Wales is teetering on special measures.
This only came out as special measures for the election. And then it went back in again.
Yeah, the election, and it went back in. And you do see a lot of political games with health, and we're going to come on to that as well. Yeah. So the next thing then, this is close to us. We've just been up there covering this. Prince Philip Hospital minor injury unit to shut at night. Now, the thing about this is it was an accident and emergency there. That was taken away on the promise that the minor injuries unit would be 24 hours. Now, Llanelli, where this is the largest catchment area for Carmarthenshire, the county that it's in. This has no maternity. The minor injuries are now being reduced to 12 daytime hours, so the busiest time it's closed. And also no accident and emergency, meaning people will have to either drive to Swansea, which is a good, from here, 40 minutes-ish for traffic.
And a different health authority, so you're burdening them.
Yeah.
But
or Carmarthen, Glangwili.
Do you know of anywhere in the United Kingdom, which is a large town, where you have to have, if you have maternity problems, you have to go to another town?
No.
Well,
and it's
no Llanelli people are born in Llanelli unless they're born at home. They have to go to Carmarthen.
Yeah.
Look, it's a sanctuary city, okay?
But the point is that this is the largest catchment area. I think it's something like 53 or 56% of people who live in the whole of Carmarthenshire live in Llanelli, where this hospital is, but they're stripping the services away. So again,
there's no public money we've been spending on roads that we aren't building.
Well, we did bring it up the last time we came here. We had a graph, didn't we? And it showed that nearly 2/3 of the Welsh budget was for climate change. So that was what was important. Don't worry about health and education, climate change.
Zealots, man.
Yeah. So there is now, this is what I mean by the politics, a protest camp set up outside the hospital. So we are coming up to, and we have to give a shout out to the Stradey Park protesters.
Yep.
Because on the 10th of the 10th is the day that the Home Office, we received the phone call from the Home Office that they pulled out of the hotel. After 100 days of 24-hour camping and protesting, they won. So this is what they're doing now. However, the support isn't as strong because these people doing it are all the Labour politicians. Now, Labour NHS, or the Welsh NHS, is run by Labour. So they could potentially be responsible for this closure. But they are there 24 hours a day, one or two of them for 24 hours anyway, fighting this. So if it does win, they get the kudos for it. Yeah. However, they're the reasons it's happening for in the first place,
But just have a look at who the health secretaries in Wales were. Yeah. Mark Drakeford.
Oh, really?
Ellen Morgan,
the now First Minister.
Who said it was too hard to do the health portfolio. She's now running the country.
Yeah.
Jeremy Miles and the other...
Vaughan Gethin.
No, Vaughan Gethin.
Vaughan Gethin was in COVID.
Yeah.
So write the passage, and you have to be health minister, it seems, before First Minister. Because it's just, and the problem is we haven't had any successful ministers, never mind specific.
No.
But it's okay because, while everything crumbles around us and we have to sit in a hospital corridor for 14 hours because there's no beds, or sit in the back of an ambulance or something like that, it's interesting to see how the other half are living. So we go on to this. So this is Welsh Labour. So Soho House and Manhattan Restaurant, how Welsh Labour splurged 1.5 million. On company cards, 2022 to 2023, an 81% increase on the previous year.
So this is both ends of the M4, Westminster and...
Average socialist government.
Yes, absolutely. Well, this is just an absolute mick take, But the Welsh Labour government used taxpayer money to pay for meals at restaurants in Manhattan and visit to Soho House in Hollywood in a 1.5 million spending spree.
You're getting looted.
We are literally
looting your country.
Yeah, and then
they're going to loot our country.
Yeah.
I
mean, $51 for a lobster kebab.
Yeah, well, we'll go through it.
It doesn't even sound nice, does it?
No.
It doesn't sound nice. I totally understand Cromwell at this point. It's just like, no, I hate the king, I hate the parliament, I hate everything, I hate the activists. I'm just going to leave the army. I totally understand why he did it all of a sudden.
Yeah. And then we just fly through this and then we'll finish up then. But documents show Welsh Government cards were used in March and April 2022 to pay for bills of $7,949 and $15,953 at Zuzu's, a Manhattan restaurant serving Eastern Mediterranean dishes.
$15,000 at a restaurant.
Yes, that's our politicians.
16.
Why
if you
just paint me warts and all, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah. But why are they even in Manhattan? What's the Welsh Government doing?
Lamb.
Why is the Welsh Government in Manhattan?
Yeah.
And why are they spending 15 or 16 grand on a meal?
Yeah, our portfolio is education, health, the economy, and housing. So why are we there?
Yeah. But that's, this is it, and this is everything. We have got the left as well. We haven't got time to cover it now, but you can jump onto our Twitter, VO Wales Official. They're all on there. But, you've got the left who will basically fight for the government, the brown shirts, to stand up for all this sort of stuff, the champagne socialists themselves. But this is basically what you guys have got to look forward to.
I hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, and if you want to see what else we're putting out, you can follow Bo's series, Epochs. This time he's talking about Pompey and Caesar, very important topic that. And if you want to follow everything else that we're putting out, you can follow our Twitter account. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.